David Lucas and Lee Daggett both hit their career best scores as LV County Championship second division leaders Northamptonshire continued to get the better of their neighbours Leicestershire on the second day of their match at Grace Road. The visitors resumed on the second morning on 136 for 2, trailing by only 32 runs, and although batting was never that easy in the opening hour, both Stephen Peters and the night watchman Lucas survived. Lucas had started the day on 7 and Leicestershire would have been hopeful of getting shot of him early. But once again this summer, those not always expected to get the runs did just that for Northamptonshire. Lucas chanced his arm at times, but for the most part he played correctly and played some delightful strokes. Peters had resumed his knock on 76 and a third 100 of the summer looked on the cards as he moved into the 90s with his 14th 4. He needed only one more boundary to get to three figures, but after a little more than an hour of trying, Leicestershire finally got a breakthrough as Peters was legged before to Andrew MacDonald. The lead for Northamptonshire at this stage was 13 runs, but Lucas and Alex Wakely then built on that either side of lunch. Wakely showed his intent by stroking Claude Henderson for a straight 6, before Lucas went to a 50 for only the second time in his 13-year career, with a crunching drive off Nadim Malik, which brought him his 8th 4 from his 99th delivery. Leicestershire desperately needed to get themselves back into the contest, but they missed a chance to do so when Wakely was put down at slip. Lucas, meanwhile, hit Jigger Nake for another 4 to go to his best ever score, beating the 55 he made against Essex 2 years ago. The fourth wicket partnership was beginning to take Northamptonshire away from their opponents. Wakely struck Henderson for another maximum as the total moved on to 242 for a lead of 74. Lucas was finally dismissed after 164 minutes of crease occupation. He'd made 60 when he failed to find the boundary this time and hit Nate to Greg Smith. And that, surprisingly, led to a mid-innings collapse. Niall O'Brien nicked the second new ball to Tom New to go for a first ball duck. Andrew Hall added just 5 before nicking Matthew Hoggard to Will Jefferson. And James Middlebrook followed 2 deliveries later after being hit on the pads in front. From 242 for 3, Northamptonshire now found themselves on 250 for 7. Wakely was still there though, and he was able to reach his 50 with his 5th 4 to go with that pair of towering 6s off Henderson. But he didn't last too much longer. He'd moved on to 62 when he was bowled by a nip-backer from Wayne White at 299 for 8, the lead now at 131. But now it was Daggett's turn to frustrate the home side's bowlers as he put bat to ball in adding 46 more runs with David Murphy. Murphy was out for 21, edging Malik behind. But still, Leicestershire couldn't finish off the innings as Jack Brooks joined the impressive Daggett. His previous highest score had been 48, made against this same opposition last summer. But now in the 57th innings of his career, he was able to get to a 50 for the first time. And with that, Hall declared at 371 for 9. So Leicestershire came back out to bat with much to do, trailing by 203 runs on first innings, and they soon found themselves deep in the doo-doo. Jefferson was very well held by Middlebrook in the gully off Brooks for 8, and Leicestershire's own night watchman, Nake, couldn't repeat Lucas's heroics as he was LBW to Lucas for 6 at 23 for 2. Smith and Matthew Boyce did at least see out the remaining 3 overs, but they are now facing an uphill task to prevent Northamptonshire from increasing their lead at the top of the second division even further. Leicestershire will resume on the third morning on 27 for 2, still needing 176 more runs to avoid an innings defeat.